Hello and welcome to another Dragonstorm Studios video. And today we're going to be drawing some dragons some more. So we did drawing the dragon's head a couple of videos ago. And last video we discussed how to draw the body. And one thing I didn't mention is that you can also add lots of embellishments to your work. So by darkening in the claws and creating a shine effect, you just give a bit more texture to it. You might end up with ridges on the back of our dragon. Like in How to Train Your Dragon 2 perhaps. So there's lots of different ways you can change things up in your dragon's design. Maybe add like a frill effect perhaps. Could be very interesting. So that these front scales here have this wonderful majestic sort of extra design, which might help the dragon fly or just in general kind of look cool or keep itself warm, or for whatever reason you might have all sorts of different additions. So please feel free to add whatever you need to make your dragon more interesting and more unique, and don't feel as if the videos here are meant to be a one-way or the highway. In today's video we're going to talk about tails and wings. And when it comes to tails, first of all, there are so many possibilities. I mean, a dragon traditionally just has a regular sinuous kind of tail, but that doesn't mean you can't add to it. Perhaps you have like a spiked or clubbed tail, perhaps like a dinosaur, an ankylosaur, perhaps. Maybe it's an aquatic dragon and it's got a fin or a flipper as its tail to help propel it through the water. Bladed appendage on its tail, like in Dragonheart. So the more you make it interesting, the more you change it up, I find anyways, the better it'll usually look. So keep that in mind as you're working away and trying to find a new take on dragons. Very often it's just adding things to existing body parts, not so much changing the entire body part itself, just making a new addition to it. When it comes to the wings of a dragon, I always think of a bat. And if you imagine that there's a muscle here attached to the shoulder, it might come down, back up again, and then you have the fingers, air quotes, splaying outward. So let's finish up the arm of the wing first. And then once it reaches about here, you're going to have the fingers. So you have a thumb, and then you'll have the 3, 4, 5, air quotes again, fingers coming out from there. And it's those fingers that will have the membrane in between them, which will give it that wing sort of look that we all know and love. You might even have a joint within the air quotes finger so that the wing can change shape as well. But again, that's a detail which you may or may not like aesthetically, and you can choose to keep that in there or not. I'm going to try it so you can see what it looks like and decide for yourself whether or not it's really for you. And then we have the membrane attached. I usually end up attaching it to the end of the ribs, but you can have it attached further down, like in the wing perhaps. There are many, many possibilities. But I find it more striking if you've got a skinnier part close to the body, and then just having it really come out in a hyper exaggerated sort of way. And my tails are in the way here, but you kind of get the idea of what that will look like there. It just creates this frightening image. I mean, we think of bats and you know other demons perhaps as being frightening sorts of things, but it also gives it that sense of mystery and that air of majesty that we love in dragons. And then you're gonna get a little bit of the ribbing in the wings. So you're gonna get just these little lines, and I'm drawing them in nice and light because they're not gonna really remain when I'm finished. I'm gonna be using my blending stomp to kind of smudge them all in. And when I'm done with that, we'll add some little veiny bits in the inside. So I'm going to take my blending stomp to all of this. So we'll take a look and see how it turns out in just a moment. All right, so, and as I apply the blending stomp, I'm kind of following the direction of that ribbing in there. And then that way, the lines are still visible, but they're very indistinct. As I to work around the tails, which I did not do a very good job of spacing out there. All right, so you can still kind of see the lines, but they're indistinct. I've also darkened underneath the arm, just to kind of give it a bit of a shadow there as well. At that point, I am going to take a little bit of graphite and just put it on my scrap paper. Just put a layer of graphite down, and I'm going to take some of that graphite onto my blending stomp, and I'm going to draw in the veins in the wings. So I'm just going to have a nice dark area of tone on my blending stomp to be able to add in that vein effect. If I use pencil, it'll be a little bit too in your face, a bit too harsh. So the blending stomp with a little bit of dark on it is able to create a more subtle, and I think much more effective effect in the work there. And last but not least, I just might add some imperfections here and there. Maybe you've got, for example, some places where the wing membrane has just kind of been, nicked here and there. There's a little bit of battle damage. Maybe there are some holes in the wings as well, where a mixture of claw attacks and brushing past branches at high velocity have just created some battle damage here and there. I'm sure an older dragon would have all sorts of little scars and things going on. And that's pretty much how I would do a dragon wing. Maybe add some texture to the wings, either through that technique with the face that we did with little kind of pebbly effects, or even just the full-on scales that you might see here and there, like we did on the body in the last video. So lots of possibilities. Hope you enjoyed that video and found it helpful. Please give it a try. Create your own amazing dragon characters. Have a fantastic night. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.